Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll only take a minute or two. I guess today my figures show there's probably closer to 9,000 people on the waiting list in Pennsylvania, and unfortunately, there's people added every day, and there's people subtracted, unfortunately, every day. I witnessed my neighbor pass away waiting for a liver transplant a couple years ago, and I know that a lot of those people on the waiting list were for kidney, and I had some figures from the National Kidney Registry Foundation pertaining to Medicare. A minimum of $71,000. Now, this is a couple of years ago, a year to maintain an individual on dialysis versus $10,000 a year on annual rejection. And so also there was a white paper put out by University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School demonstrating how an additional 1,500 to 2,000 living donor transplants annually could save the American healthcare systems upward to $100 billion over the next decade, mainly dealing with the kidney end of it at that point. I don't like to be personal, but my own, this issue is personal with me. I know firsthand how critical this legislation is to those whose lives depend on another person's willingness to donate an organ or bone marrow. I underwent a bone marrow transplant in 2005 upon learning that I had multiple myeloma, a deadly cancer with no cure. A living donor saved my life. The transplant I received sustained me long enough for a new drug to come on the market that now controls my disease in remission. I do remember when I talked to the people down at the University of Pennsylvania pertaining to the bone marrow transplant, they said they wouldn't do it, and I contacted a number of other institutions, and I got the same answer that, according to my age, it was too dangerous for me to go through the transplant at that time. Well, they also told me I had a year to live, and I thought, what am I going to lose? I might lose a year, so I took that chance, and fortunately, got a bone marrow, transplant, very little rejection, and a number of years later, 10 years later, I am here and still in the House of Representatives. So it's sometimes, I couldn't believe it when I was told I had this multiple myeloma. I showed no symptoms and whatsoever, but I was told that this was it for me. So all I can say is I know how important transplants are to people that need them, because I was one of the one that needed them. So I say thank you to the committee for taking this up, but it's a vital situation that should be looked at, and really something that we really ought to get involved in and do something about. So with that, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to say a few words.